Tabata was prepped for this chapter. He knew that this was going to be a really fast chapter, and the funny thing is, it's one of the chapters that it has like a fast pace to it, but it's one that you will take a while reading. For one, the art looks really crisp in this chapter. Like the panel with like all the lightning bolts going around and like destroying all of the blood and steel devils that Magicula made. Just like luck just carrying through a bunch of it looks fantastic. Like the angle of it, and then some of just the general style of art and the effects that Tabata put in this looks great. I thought this is probably one of the best panels we've had all time skip, just from the visual layout of it, because it's set like you're just some person literally looking up from like a far edge of the room and witnessing the sheer like chaos that is just unleashed all within the general area. And like everything that went on was super hype. Like the first part, you have Asta backing up Noelle some more, telling her that she's awesome. She's got her Saint stage back on. She's going in to go after Magicula. She wanted to take down Magicula, obviously. Like this is a good opportunity for everyone involved to really just put in the work. And Asta pretty much having a hold of Magicula tells me two things. One, Magicula is not going to be able to detonate Lolovechka, but it's set up in a way that she could still just at any point take out Bonica. And I have seen people come up with the idea of like, if she takes out Bonica and then, gets 1/3 more manifested, if like she's able to power herself up further in that scenario. But I feel like if that happens, like what is Tabata gonna do to like make it still seem like it's possible to defeat her in this scenario? I do not want Magicula to die, but I'm alright if they have pretty much beat Magicula and she has to go back to the underworld and we won't see her again until she actually fully gets out, like her gate level. Like the floor that her gate is on is open and she's able to instead come out naturally with the whole ritual. But Rill's in there, he's doing his thing, and I did say, last chapter, if Rill did I said 2 to 3, but I'll give it 2 because I feel like 3 like really clutch moves would be a little bit too much to ask for. But 2 more would be like, in my opinion, put in a really good spot. I don't hate Rill, but like Rill has had just a really bad display like the whole time skip. But the whole Twilight of Valhalla being able to buff and give everybody pretty much short range durability or short time durability. Just makes me think of like the Mario Star. I just think of that music when I think of that scene with Rill. But that, and then in this chapter, he does the whole Master of Valhalla, and he's just making like these big twisters, going around destroying a bunch of the little devils involved. I thought that was really good. So if Rill can do one more really good scene like this, then in my opinion, he'll have pretty much got himself at least evened out for the arc. I don't think he'll be like, oh, Rill's amazing now, or like Rill's bad. It's just like Rill's in a good standing at that point. He's got himself in a good point. But this also further reinforces one of the claims that I had against Rill, or for Rill, is that Rill would be much better as a support mage than like a straight combat mage, because he can still fight. But that one scene still when he helped make Charlotte's briars more powerful by painting all that like very nutritious like soil for her to plant her briars in, like that sense then, like that set the idea of like how beneficial Rill would be in any combo, because Rill's magic would mean that he can paint anything to help buff up and empower his ally. And it's like a thing where like some people might not take that as like a good thing, obviously, like, oh, well, being a support person, but it's like being a support person isn't a negative. It really just is like, what does this character bring to the table? Like, Mimosa is not a fighter. She has some offensive spells, but she's pretty much a healer. But it's like, would people really pass up having Mimosa on the team if they could take like her versus like a couple other support people? She's definitely one of the better support people, and obviously healing is good. Like, some of the only other people you're gonna really go for outside of just getting into like, I don't want like the Witch Queen where she gets like crazy healing. If you went for like raw support, you get like Finral or something, just because of how fast Finral's reactions are and how like usually can be just pretty much giving you any space over the battlefield. But also on top of that, you have Charlotte using the old Crimson Vine Spear that the elf that took over her body used, which is really cool. Magicula just making good, really nice commentary over the fight, saying how like them evolving mid-combat, like mid-battle, is like the thing that makes humans so like fun for her to play with. I thought that was really cool because Megicula has been really cool in displaying her existence as a devil, but not being as like kind of like stale as like the twins were. The twins were set up clearly by Tabata as these characters are not going to last long, so he's not going to do a whole lot with them. Whereas like Megicula clearly has had way more of a standing. She was like the first devil we actually got a name for. She's been brought up since like everything started to roll in with the Spade and the Heart Kingdom and everything. So clearly he's going to spend way more time with Megicula, whereas like the twins, he knew that like after a couple chapters after they were introduced, they were going to get diced up by Austin and they were going to leave them around it. So Megicula in this just being really cool. I like her personality. I like her as a antagonist. She gives like the actual vibes of a very powerful yet intriguing enemy. And then one of like the big like Blood and Steel like devils comes in and it's gigantic. Like it's just massive. There's a couple other like big ones, but like seeing like the one that was like going up near like up to Noelle, like you can tell like it was just bulkier than a majority of them. Like you only have a couple of these just big thick boys. And that's when Luck comes in. Luck just blitzes right through it. Just pretty much takes off the entire top of his body. Which again, these guys don't seem like they're all threats, but it's just overwhelming numbers and then sheer physical power probably of what like values these guys are, what these like fodder devils are. Because in reality they are just buffed up Dark Disciple corpses, but they're still dangerous, but it's like they're just in mass. If you can take them out, it's just like you just can't let them kind of, find an opening on you kind of thing. It's not like those low-level devils where it's like they're so fodder that you probably won't even really have to worry about being a great character of relative value. But Luck being there is really cool. I didn't expect Luck to really be part of this fight. I figured Luck was going to go somewhere else and just kind of do his own thing. But Luck obviously like sticking around for this fight. One, it's useful and it's a benefit for him obviously to be involved in this. But also, like, it makes sense, like, why he's going to stay for a really good fight. I didn't really consider Luck's mindset when it came to, like, just kind of, like, looking at this fight. Obviously, like, he's going to want to be in this. He's not by himself. If it was just him, I don't think he would stick around to really fight Megicula, but everyone being involved, yeah, like, definitely in there. And Rill also still getting inspired. If Rill can pull out one more spell, if Rill can get one more really clutch spell, like I said, he'll be out of the mud for me. He'll be, like, dead even, and then it's just hopefully all uphill for him from there. We'll see. And he makes a comment over, like, if there was just one more lightning user to help guide the way to for Noelle. And I was wondering, like, why specifically lightning? Maybe it's just in his head, it was just that he was being inspired by lightning, and maybe that'll lead into, like, an Odin kind of, like, healing spell or something. But that's when Gaja comes in. I know a lot of people have been, like, kind of, like, in an upsetting way, like, speculating if Gaja was gonna be fight because of Rill's spell. I don't mind it as long as like it's clear that he's gonna die afterwards. Kind of like Lumiere and the statue. Like if it was just Gaja like really hurt and he was just in a really bad spot, then I'd say like, oh okay, well they can heal him and fix him now. But we do know that he used all of his life force, and we still don't see his grimoire in this chapter. So I'm assuming that he's gone. I mean, it's not something that is impossible, like the idea of him things, but I feel like he's just done. I don't really see him making recovery from this whole set. At least I don't think he's his grimoire. There's a grimoire next to him, but I'm pretty sure that's one. I'm probably gonna mid-review look up Luck's grimoire. Black grimoire. Because I think this is Luck's. At least from my memory. I don't think that Gaja has anything that, I don't think his grimoire resembles it at all. But, here, if the wiki would do a nice here, one thing I do appreciate is that they have pictures of everybody's grimoires. And for some reason, I think I'm pretty sure this is Luck's. Either way, like, even if it is, I don't know if it is Gaja's grimoire, I will say, like, if he is field where he lives. I just want it to be a logical explanation, because I know some people would be really mystified. I don't mind stuff like that as long as it makes sense. As long as I can look at it and be like, yeah, I can buy that, and that's still something that is established and works in their series. Like if Radiant was like, it was revealed sometime way earlier that Radiant and Godule were for some reason very close, and then he came in and was able just to resurrect him. Something like that, and be like, yeah, well, it's something that makes sense in the series, and something that makes sense in the series, in my opinion, outweighs like personal opinions, because your personal opinion is just kind of like your own speculation versus what actually makes sense with what is constructed in the story, even if it's something that you're not a fan of. But then you get that really cool panel I was talking about, where them just kind of like blitzing through, just completely eradicating a bunch of the weaker devils in the general area. Noelle going in close, and like the lightning like zapping up Megicula as well, just like kind of like frying up her body. She doesn't seem that durable, but it just, her region. Granted, this is 1/3 Megicula, and we don't know what that's gonna really look like at her full power. Like the full power Megicula might just completely like put out her hand and block these lightning bolts like it's nothing. But obviously, like, characters with high regen, where it's like really high regen, generally don't have the highest level of durability because they don't need it. Their body wouldn't have adjusted, like, needed to like adapt and adjust and grow to have like a really high durability, because they would just regenerate from it. But she's doing her thing. Megicula's just being like, yeah, I know I'm incomplete, but like, you guys are actually really impressing me. You're doing a good job, but I don't think you're gonna, you know, I don't see you as really defeating me. So this is about it. And that's when the big Mercury dome just kind of like forms around her. And I know a lot of people were speculating that Nozel wasn't gonna make it, and because at this point it was like, well, we never, like, there's nothing to indicate he was on his way or if he was gonna show up. Like, the only thing that really about Nozel being in there is the obvious ties that Monica and Megicula to Aesir, and obviously Nozel by association with Mom. I know he was there, but it's like, even if he wasn't there, even if Nozel wasn't there for that day, it would still be something that he'd have been thinking about and really been like taken personally. Because like, that's his mom. So I wouldn't, like, he could have literally just found out general information, and I would still understand why he would have this kind of like dark want for revenge. This is the like most understandable probably like reason of revenge kind of get for a lot of cases. There's only a couple other areas where you'd be like, yeah, I can kind of forgive somebody for wanting revenge for that. This is something that directly led to the death of his mother, and the line he had coming in was super cool, and the paneling, and like the lightning panel was really cool, but like Nozel in there with just the silhouette of him, just a shadow, and then the two white circles for eyes, and it's just like, you know, how dare you show yourself in front of my family again? You have no idea how long I've waited for this moment. I want Nozel to have a really good scene, but at the same time, like I said, I don't want Megicula to die, but I'm fine if she's defeated and she's forced back to the Underworld, because then it could build up in a time for like her later return. We can see like her have like a personal grudge against them, but also it would give more time for them to be able to get stronger to like actually fully defeat her in her like full prime power. Very intrigued with what Mata is going to do with this in the next couple chapters. This is going to be really cool. I think that the chapters are on break. Yeah, they're on break next week, which is rough, but at the same time, this is a really good way to move off a chapter. And like I said, it's funny that this is like, it's only 15 pages. There's not a lot of dialogue, but I've probably looked through this chapter like 3 or 4 times just because like the art's really good, the scenery is really cool. The events are just badass. I'm very much enjoying this fight. This is a way better fight than what happened with the Twins. The Twins were literally just there for Asa to get some cool flexes and then just to show off like how powerful these Supreme Devils are as like their starting point. They were just like, all right, it's all stronger from here. This is just a preview, and they did a good job at least in showing that they're strong, but like Megicula is showing like what they're actually kind of capable of as like the intelligent abilities. Anyway, on that note, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter and the Nozel hype hours coming up, and really appreciate you. Down below, thumbs up, keep it from the link, subscribe, and check out the videos for next.